we go. All right. I started recording today. I didn't have my headphones on, so that was good. All right. So today we're going over chapter 8 in Forge of Darkness, book one of the Carcanus trilogy by Stephen Erikson, doing our deep dive here. This was a pretty interesting chapter. There was a lot of revelations, very revelatory, this chapter. And we start off with our favorite pair here, Coria, the hostage Dulat of Hot, the Jaghut, and the they're traveling now, I believe. Yes, and one of the things that he Hot mentions, that Jaghut mentions, is the Azathanai. Someone has been precipitous. But I must speak with my kin, those who have remained, that is, the rest can go rot. I love it. I love that jagged sense of humor. So this guy's concerned about what the Azathanai are up to. Interesting. The Thelakai I mentioned again. He brings a Thelakai axe. I think we all know that they're the ancestors of the modern Teblor and the modern, you know, um, those variations of those races. She mentions that weapons frighten her, and he says, then some wisdom at least I have taught you. Good. So it's good stuff. I love the interaction between those two, master and student, and they're traveling across a realm, so to speak, and I think they're going through some kind of warren of some sort, some kind of magical warren. And she asked him, "What realm is this?" And he says, such a nuanced word, realm. An invitation to balance, all stationary, moat tilted against moat, the illusion of solidity, a place to walk through, encompassing the span of one's vision and calling it home. Did you expect the world you knew? And it goes on, this stuff, and with this philosophical nonsense, and they mention that he mentions that the Jellic, and he mentions to her, "What will your kin do with a score of soul-taken pups?" She says, "I don't know, tame them, I suppose." um, and so he's referring to the previous chapter where the Scamandari, that guy, has the hostage pups from the Jellic. So how they know that? How do you know that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how he knew that. Um, Either way, uh, she they go on, and Corey is dwelling upon her life, and she knows it. She knows it was modest, and she compares her and Hot to the dolls in her trunk. Just as the dolls dwelled there, so too did she and Hot dwell in the keep. And she says, well, the realm they're traveling through now could just be another version of that kind of a prison. It's all a matter of scale. So lots of pondering. She says, I found a memory, Master. We understood nothing of soul taken, did we? That the giant wolves we slew were in fact people. We killed them, we hunted them because it is a lust in our souls to hunt. That's such an interesting thought, because that's you got to think about that. At what point do you consider someone or a thing that you're killing a people? What point? Yeah, there's a lot to think about there. Hmm. And yeah, so And they're talking about the being invited to this realm that they're walking through, and they're philosophizing more. And he says to her, "Child, you will live forever." And she says, "That's a child's belief." And he says, "No, that's an adult's nightmare." The jagged sense of humor is it's kind of funny. Um, so the word "maybe" is brought up. Now, remember that word from Memories of Ice, of course, right? The vessel waiting to be filled. Trunk of dolls, reaching quickly now. Choose one upon your life. Choose one. Um, so Korea is referring to herself as this maybe who needs to be filled with knowledge. In her case, she's learning. She's a hostage, but she's also a student, and she's learning, and she is a vessel waiting to be filled. Very interesting stuff. Let's see here. Oh, then we move to Farron. Um, and she's reminiscing here, not reminiscing. She's fretting over her relationship with Draconis' son, Arathan, and she's going on about what has taken hold of her because she knows this is dangerous, this game she's playing with him, but she doesn't care. She's kind of rushing towards her fate, eager to sink into the dire consequences. And yeah, that it's not going to end well here. Um, all right, so we travel on here, and the she's thinking about who somebody's thinking about Draconis. Um, oh, her sister, uh, her brother, Rint, and we know that he's not very happy with her decisions at all. Um, and he's wondering about Draconis, Lord Draconis, and why would an Azathanai feel any need beyond simple hospitality to entertain Lord Draconis? There were some hidden currents here. And then when they come upon a settlement that's been uh, you know abandoned for centuries, um, Draconis is like, "Oh, my memory was that this settlement was occupied." So there's all these hints that Draconis is not an Andy. There's something more here. There's something more going on with this guy, and I sorry if I'm giving that away to people who are reading this for the first time, but I think it's starting to become obvious now that Draconis is a little more than than just a randomly chosen successful campaigner consort for Mother Darkness. Just like there's a lot more to Mother Darkness as we're going to be seeing here in a little bit. Arathon, of course, Arathan, not Arathon. Jeez, Arathan is he's this poor kid. He's so in for it. He just wants to melt into this woman who's taken him in, and he just wants to be with her and just be devoured by her and breathe her breath and everything else. And the kid's totally besotted, and he's then of course has to be talked to by the sergeant, and Sergeant Rascan, and of course he's all mad. He's pissed off, of course, as the young will be, and Rascan is like, "Yeah, I knew this wouldn't be easy," and let's see. Then of course, Draconis is going to speak to Farron, and she, Draconis let's see. He takes her to this this place this place where there's a dead creature of some sort. I don't know if it's a dead Jaghut or just a dead uh, Azathanai or something like that. There's a sarcophagus. So he takes her into this place and he says, "This is a power. There's a power here." And he forcibly takes her in there. Like she can't resist him. She's totally within his power. She's weak in his grasp. She's wondering if it's sorcery. She's wondering if Draconis had this power from Mother Dark. Um, it didn't make sense to her. Of course, this is more hints about the Draconis is something else. Um, then he throws her in front of this undead corpse, um, and then mutters some blessings on the corpse, calls her queen, and tells Farron to crawl out and be quick about it. And she's like, what is this? She doesn't know what's going on. Um, he says, "Death and life in there do not welcome each other's touch. You are with child, Farron. The seed grows within you. Now leave my son alone." That was kind of a strange scene there. Uh, but you wonder what Draconis was trying to achieve there, other than just warning her away. There's something else going on there. So then, Arathon's sitting around. I keep saying Arathan's sitting around, and he comes to, he's all pissed off. He comes to his bedroll. He sees the scales from his former tutor that his former tutor made him take, and he throws them out into the night. So there's kind of a sense of symbolism there. He's done. He's done with his child, and I'm done. I'm so mad. Hmm. All right. Uh, and then once again, it's mentioned that we go to Grisenfarl, that Azathanai, who was so happy before to meet with Draconis. He talks about how death is a terrible power, and that need was its own answer to life. One needs to eat, be it flesh or plant, and death was the currency. So, uh, and he also says something I thought was very interesting. Serious people never stopped waging their war on joy and pleasure. They were both relentless and tireless. Yeah, and they called him Protector. This Azathan Grisenfaro. So he gets a little visit from our friend Kaladin Brood. So I'm loving all these names that are you know tickling my reminiscence of the Book of the Fallen, and then they start getting hammered together. So another philosophizing here. Freedom is nothing more than life stripped of responsibility. That's great stuff. Coward and Bruce says the Tiste put much in gestures. They would make of every deed a symbol until the world carries benighted weight. By this means many walls are raised, many doors barred, and in meaning the realm becomes a maze to all who dwell with it. So not very nice words about the Tystandi, but yeah. Uh, and then they start talking about the Jaghut, and they say, "Is the Jaghut is it as the Jaghut assert then that in society we find the seeds of its own destruction? Perhaps they missed a point." Who asked that? File asked that. Callan Bruce says, "Perhaps they missed a point. It is the absence of society that leads to destruction. When concord is lost, when arguments cease, and in opposition neither side sees the other as kin, as brother and sister, then all manner of atrocity is possible." Hmm. Little compare and contrast there with society and civilization and what it all means. All right, so they mention Cruel, the god Cruel, or the Azathanai Cruel, um, has begotten a child, and the earth itself holds the memory of its birth cry. Will you drink of Cruel's blood? Karul, however you say that. And he says, Brood says, there's no need of that. As you say, a child is born, and it will in turn beget many others before too long. So we're looking at births of gods here. Um, and they're wondering if Karul is precipitous. Should he be doing this? Um, let's see here. And they mention that Draconus journeyed in fevered rage. They say Draconus is indifferent to Karul, so he doesn't care what Karul's doing with this whole birthing of stuff. We know from the Book of the Fallen that Karul is responsible for warrens, and other kind of magic like that. So, um, yeah. So they're really throwing out the the hints about how all the gods and stuff work here. So let's see. I went too far. I threw the boy out. What's he talking about here? Let's see. They're talking to each other, and somebody says, "My first progeny, Erastus." They're talking about sexual lath. Um, so this guy's the father of Erastus, the god from the Book of the Fallen, and also Lath. Uh, and he says, Sech is weak, is what he is. To have them both come from my loins shrinks my sack with shame. That's kind of funny. Um, yeah, that is Grisenfaro is the father of these gods. Wow. And this is all drunk speaking, so who knows what's real here. But then we move to the next section where it is Erastus and Sechel Lath, and they're talking to each other, and it looks like they killed somebody. They killed a Jaghut. Um, and that, that can't be good, right? So, and they're saying, "Wow, she was hard to kill." These two Azathanai is like, "Wow, this Jaghut was hard to kill." And Erastus says, "Well, we're not the only elemental forces in creation here. Uh, you know, um, and he feels that place is not for us." Erastus says, "Mother Dark dares to claim it. Darkness, as if she could claim the domain as entirely her own. What arrogance!" And they see chaos. They see an endless storm. They're looking into the realm of chaos, and they complain that Karul would simply give away power freely to any who might want it. Um, and they say Mother Dark understands the exclusivity of power, even though she reaches too far. We must draw her into this fray. We must awaken her to the threat these new Warrens pose. So, I think we're looking at the birth of Warrens as we know them way back here. Um, and and yeah, and so they say, well, it looks like we've awakened the wrath of the Jaghut. Nothing good will come of that. And Erastus, that's what Sechel says, and Erastus says, night comes to the Jaghut. Their fury is nothing now. And he says, well, your dismissal's too easy there, Erastus. We have just murdered his wife. And he says, and Hood will weep. What of it? Now let us go before they draw close enough to hear us. Besides, it's not Hood who approaches, only his brother. So these guys, these Azathanai, these soon-to-be gods or what have you, they just killed the wife of Hood. who's, of course, we know is going to become the Lord of Death in the future. Oh boy, this is bad news. And his brother is who we already know is Hot, who's his brother. So Hot and Cora, they come up. They come up here, and they find the body of her name is Karish. That's the wife of Hood, and this is the first time Korea has seen a corpse. Hot is distraught. um, Koya says, "This is death. Death is stillness, and stillness does not belong among the living." Um, and Hot just he's distraught, and then he says, "But then they're looking upon the chaos," and Hot's like, "No, no, no! Don't look upon that. It's unwise. Do not yield to its invitation. For that I am sorely tempted myself." Um, Mother Dark did not hesitate. She leapt into that wild realm and returned, but not the same woman she had been before. Now she would turn her back upon chaos, a champion of all that is not. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, is there gonna be war here? Is there gonna be war? This darkness, Mother Dark named this chaos. She named it the Spar, Spar of Andy. Interesting, interesting name. I don't know why that. I don't remember that name, so it hasn't really doesn't really ring a bell with me. But anyways, that's the end of chapter 8. Lots of revelations here. So wow. Anyways, I hope you've caught up to me reading along if you are. And yeah, maybe I'll get through chapter 9 this week. We'll see. But until then, be good to each other, and I'll see you.